Hi everyone, welcome back to Hotel Talk Podcast. And today I have with us a surprising guest, Marina Lazaris. We bumped into each other in Cyprus at a hotel and thought, well, we've got to do a podcast. She's also a podcast host of the Marina Show, which is on Spotify. And she's the author of this book, if you guys are watching on YouTube later, which is called Men Need Love Too. And it's a man's simple guide to sex and relationships. So thank you, Marina. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's so nice. And I love this. And I love that there's a connection, a very obvious connection with your name to Cyprus. You've got some Cypriot blood in you.
I do. I loved my ear.
Oh, that's so sweet. But obviously, when people hear you or watch you or follow you, you're very much English.
I am.
Born and raised English girl. And from Surrey, huh?
From Surrey. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Greek roots will always have my heart, right?
Yeah.
There's so much love here, so much healing here. Like, this is a place, I believe, for ultimate transformation.
I love that. Well, I have loads of questions for you.
Yes.
And before I do my usual format, I'm just going to dive straight into your book. Yeah. So why the focus on men?
They were coming to me. So I always believe, be aware and mindful. And they were coming to me with questions on love, relationships. And I was like, okay, this is needed. This is what's called for in the world right now. And whether or not it's the man or the masculine within you as a woman, right? Because I think, myself included, have been very driven in my masculine, doing quite a lot. Which, you know, can lead you out of balance sometimes in your life. Right?
So your book is directed towards women or the female or the male reader?
It's directed to men, but lots of women are reading it.
Yeah.
Obviously to help in their relationship, to help their men. But they're resonating with it from the masculine within them, that perspective of, you know, being in the doing, I call it mode, where you're getting results, you're doing things, but you're not open so much to receiving, which is more the feminine.
So, okay, a lot of men were maybe asking you questions about love and life and sex and relationships and so much more. But then why did you feel compelled to focus on that, to write a book on that and to make that your mission? Because a lot of people could say, oh, yeah, I've got guy friends and they ask me. And what is it that you think gave you that qualification to write a book and help people?
I suppose I was born on Valentine's Day.
Okay,
so love's always been a central thing to me. I was very close to my dad, who's Greek, Cypriot, growing up. He was an entrepreneur. He lost his business. He nearly died. So that sent me on a quest to study health, well-being, counselling, coaching, psychology, hypnosis, you name it. And then I believe, look, listen, whoever's coming to you is sometimes your calling. And my clients were men, and they were.
And you still do coaching.
I still do coaching, but intense, intense retreats, if you like, for men. And so they were coming to me, and I was like, okay, it's so complicated out there with advice that's been given to men, and it's kind of like the blind leading the blind with absolute love for men.
Well, it is one of the things, isn't it? Men don't chat like a woman, you know, like women do, or people more connected with their feminine side, I should say. So it's, you know, something happens in our lives and we'll immediately call a friend. We've got a WhatsApp group with 20 friends on, we'll discuss things and it's more socially acceptable and the norm. Whereas men, that's why suicide is up in men, isn't it? And depression, because men bottle it up, keep it in, think they have to be macho and they're not addressing their needs.
100%. And you know, that's how I kind of like start the book, as in, you know, and they don't know where to go because they don't want to go to other men. And sometimes the other men still can't give that nurturing. I mean, it's great to have, I mean, Cyprus, you see it here, it's beautiful. The men are in the coffee shops together and they've got that community.
The network,
Whereas
that support.
We lose that in the Western world more, you know, in the UK.
Although I'm not sure that they open up. They're here, yes, they're together a lot, we're a social culture, but I'm not sure how much people are open to being open. It's a lot about what's perceived, how you're perceived, So I think, again, people do bottle, both men and women bottle.
Yeah, you're
a lot
so
up.
right. Very much so here, because it's shame on your family name, what family you from. And people feel that shame, that cultural kind of shame, which is sad.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I've got here like the balance between the feminine and the masculine. There's obviously, as you just said, there's the balance between that feminine masculine side. But where and why have we gone wrong in the modern world, and what can we do to fix it?
I think sometimes, it's that division, isn't it? I think it's that not love and understanding for one another, and making everything so divided. Of course, men and women are different, of course. But having love and respect for our differences instead of letting that drive us apart, you know?
And I guess the roles have got so confused over the years. You know, women earn now. It's amazing what's happened in the last 100 years with women's rights, and we're still quite far from, I think, where we'd like to be with equal opportunities and equal pay. But within that has come so many complications. Who wears the trousers? How do we define who's supposed to do what? How we're supposed to feel about that? And each relationship is different. There's not a one size fits all. So I think it has got very confusing, especially, I would say, in this part of the world where we are quite a masculine driven society still.
It's what I feel sad about is that being a mother is a full-time job, right?
Absolutely.
And,
and you're a mother of two.
I'm a mother of
10
two.
and 6.
10 and 6.
Yeah, 2 girls.
So it's almost like it's redundant, that nurturer, the nurturer figure, the fact that being in your feminine, being kind, being loving, being in that energy is not seen as like one of the most valuable gifts you can possibly own, right? Above and beyond anything else. It's, and I think if we stop and breathe, we can actually go, oh my gosh, we need more of that. We've lost that. We're missing that. We're missing that love. We're missing that nurture within ourselves to go, do you know what? You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Rather than us beating ourselves up all the time to do more, to have more, to then
and
what?
I guess it's quite a mindset shift. I saw something the other day, one influencer, and I loved it. He said, and I think he was like South, like kind of cowboy style, South Texan, South American, and Southern American. He was like, and he was going, I can't, I don't help my wife in the kitchen. I don't help my wife with the kids. I don't help my wife, doing the grocery. And he said, because I do it. I do the washing up. Yeah. I do put the kids to bed. I do household chores. And he says, I can't help my wife because that's my job. And he said, change how you... And at the beginning, you're thinking, oh, my goodness, what a sexist guy. This is the post this is going to be. And then he shifts and he's like, change the way you speak, change your mindset. And he's like, and grow the F up and be a man.
Oh,
and I was
powerful.
like, whoa, yeah.
But that's isn't that
it was
powerful?
Shocking. Imagine,
It's just so powerful because I think in a relationship, it's that I'm doing something for you. Mm-hmm. I want you to give me something now because of that. And it's kind of that imbalance of going, do you know what? If your wife wasn't there, guess what? You're going to have to do your washing, your cleaning, your cooking all by yourself. Like, no one's going to do it for you. Yeah. So why wouldn't you do it together as a team and love and appreciate each other rather than do it to get, I've done the dishwasher, now I want something from you, right?
But I've seen a lot of your posts also focus on, I guess, it's breaking down that barrier of women like allowing themselves to be feminine and be the nurturer even for their husbands and not having to constantly keep up their masculine side.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how that's received by women. Do they appreciate that, or do they think, I don't want to go back to being a housewife or being seen? Because that's also a big battle, I think, within women.
I think it's really difficult, isn't it? I think everything's kind of been received well at the moment, like touch wood. Yeah. But I think it's, again, I mean, if I look at my story, I have worked since I was 15. I being just a housewife at home wasn't fulfilling enough for me because I believe that we're here, and one of our life purposes is to use our life purpose. I like to create. I'm going to be creating something till I'm 100. I'm proud of that. So let's not make any of that wrong. It's that, I think it's when we're in that...
or bringing that shame with it, or that guilt.
That shame, because... And I think women do that more to other women. I've never really had that problem
Women
from
love
a man.
judging other women.
Yeah, you don't
Unfortunately.
get that so much from men. Men are like, hey, they tend to. Not all men, but they tend to not judge so much. They're like, hey, if you want to go and do that, you go and do that to other men. But it's more other women that tend to go, you want to work? Why don't you just want to be at home? Because I want to do what I love. I want to use all my gifts and talents. I want to,
But I've always wondered what that is about women, because they can be very judgmental from anything. Like, you gave birth with C-section, you couldn't do natural.
Yeah.
Like, are you using a dummy? Well, you were told not to use dummies. Or are you breastfeeding? Well, you should be, or you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Everyone has an opinion. Everybody wants to share it and push that on someone else. Everyone's ashamed you went back to work so quickly, but you didn't feel like your child needed you more, or whatever it might be. And it's not just the women saying it, but the other women taking that on and caring about what someone else says.
Isn't it sad?
Yeah.
Because everyone's doing the best they can with the knowledge and skills that they have, and they're choosing the decisions based on them. What's right for you might not be right for me. And I can share like in my book, I say, look, I share my perspective
Experience.
and my real life experience. I say, look, this is my theory. I've got my own theories. I've got my relationship formula, but I'm a human. My method might not work for you. I want you to find yours because you're uniquely you. There's no other you, right?
Yeah.
And I think just remembering that and having more love and compassion for ourselves helps us go, well, she's doing the best that she can. That's what she loves doing. Because a happy mum and a happy wife is the most important thing. That's what the children want. They want to see, oh, my mum's fulfilled. If you're going to be at home in the kitchen and you hate it, every minute of it, maybe it's not for you. Maybe you need to do, even if that's just dancing around or doing a passion that you love. That's so important because that affects everything.
So tell us a bit about you.
Yeah, what would you like to know?
Well, a little bit about you, where you grew up, your parents, what shaped you to become the person you are, the experiences you went through that led you to writing this book. And I've seen on your Instagram you say that you're also single and looking for love. And so
I wouldn't so much say that I'm looking for love.
Okay.
I've been single for 4 years now. I'm content.
Yeah.
I believe that everyone's like the love of their life.
Yeah, I've said that before in this podcast. You can have many soulmates. It doesn't have to be
that one
partner.
person.
Yeah.
And I think when you've been in a 13-year relationship, you know that it's really valuable to have your friends. It's really valuable to have different people because not one person can be everything. And society drives that onto so many of us. You look for that one person to complete you, that one person to be everything. How much pressure is that on the relationship and that one person? So I'm content. I think when you are content and happy with where you are, ultimately everything flows. When you're looking to get something from someone else because you're at a deficit, then it's never great.
Yeah.
It's never great.
Can't be
it's
fully
never
happy.
Well, I wouldn't say it's not great, but I just say that you attract the wrong things, the wrong people from the wrong reason. And would I even say it's wrong? No, let's not judge myself here and say right or wrong, but it's coming from a place of I don't have it, I need it in you, I'm reclaiming it in you, rather than, okay, I've got enough of whatever I'm at deficit of, and now I'm being conscious. And it's a different relationship. Completely different. So yes, me and my story. My mum and dad were in a relationship when I grew up. They were very unhappy. My mum is very traditional. My mum stayed at home. My dad went out to work.
And your mother's Ukrainian Irish, you said?
So my mum was born in the UK, but my parents were both sons and daughters of immigrants. So they didn't feel like they belonged. And, through the war trauma and everything like that, they had a lot of trauma. So my parents trauma bonded. And I grew up in a household where the roles were very defined. A woman stays at home in the kitchen, a man goes out to work. And my dad nearly died. He got given 24 hours to live. And
from that pressure.
Well, he worked 7 days a week. My dad was hardworking. He was chasing what society said to chase. Had 20 men working for him. He was doing these businesses. But he didn't look after himself. He didn't self-care. He had a lot of trauma that he didn't process, which leads to illness. Your health is number one, 100%. So from a young age, my parents were the greatest teachers. My dad, very spiritual man. Even though he had been through so much, he was always positive, still is, and an amazing human being, very kind, and taught me about, look, you've got an aura, you've got a soul. He taught me about being spiritual at a very young age. I always had that connection to God and the light, because I believe we are all light beings. And I think my parents were great teachers to me. But then I suppose we fall into societies, and I was like, I'm going to get married by the time I'm 30, which I did because my parents got married when they were 30. And I wanted to marry a Greek man, maybe subconsciously to make my dad happy because he's Greek and my and, you know, that was that kind of the dream vision. But I think sometimes you can be so set on your tick list, your checklist. And I talk about this in my book, and your vision, that you will make anyone right in that vision.
You make them fit. Like that.
Make them fit.
It'll work,
Yeah. He's not what I want, but I'll make him what I want.
Which again, as you going back to what you just said, it's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure on the men
as
well. And again, I think it's what society tells you, like, this is how a man should be, this is how you're wed. I got married in Cyprus.
No, that's so nice. Where did you get married?
It was one of the worst days of my life.
Oh no, why? Tell us.
Yeah, it was. I did.
Why? Where did you get married?
I got married in Potaris.
Okay.
So I went out there. I came to Cyprus 4 times to plan my wedding, but I came by myself. And it's a metaphor, as in everything could look perfect. It looked beautiful. The fireworks were going off. The dinner tables looked immaculate. It was white. It was all white roses. And it looked like a fairy tale. But I never felt so lonely. Because when I looked around, I was like, I'd done the flowers myself. I'd done everything myself. No one was a part of it, right? I came to Cyprus 4 or 5 times alone. And
It's not what you needed, yeah.
I just think, looking back in hindsight, it wouldn't have mattered if the flowers were all different colours. But somebody had done it. And they were like, that was my stamp. And they looked around and they were proud of their flowers, right? I think we can get carried away with a vision of how we want something to be more than what's important, which is togetherness, everyone thinking and feeling like they're part of something and creating together something beautiful.
Oh my goodness, we see so many weddings here at St. Raphael. It's insane. I mean, we're very popular for weddings, both local weddings and foreign, let's say. And we see the in-laws getting involved. We see fights before the actual wedding day. Sometimes we can hazard a guess, like how long it's going to last. It's so sad to say, but it's quite
so
obvious.
Sad.
You know, sometimes we never meet, you know, one part of the couple, but then sometimes that works. I mean, we were laughing with my husband. We also got married here. You know, when he came in and he made his speech at our wedding dinner, he's like, I'm surprised as the rest of you because I have no idea what's going on in this room, but it's beautiful and I'd like to thank my wife. And he was laughing. But that worked for us because I was like, this isn't about you. I'm just going to do, you know. Because for me, it was a bit plug and play organising a wedding. So I was like, let me just do it and let's not faff to, you know, much about. And then I always say for weddings, we're sidetracking a bit here, but it's 2 photos. You know, I'm like, people forget they get, you know, they have fights, as you said, over flowers or, I don't know, like whether there'll be fireworks or whether they should, you know, which type of wine they should serve or like ridiculous details.
Isn't there a lot of pressure here though? Because,
but nobody cares. You know, nobody cares.
No, they don't care.
And
they don't care.
Actually, I think they care more in the UK. Like the UK weddings definitely pay more attention to details. Here it's quite a standard formula of what's going to happen, of the food that's going to be served. I mean, the cake is not a big thing here like it is in the UK. That could be a whole massive, thing and tasting. But all it remains is 2 pictures. I always say this, you will barely get out your wedding album, maybe when your kids are 15 to show them. And you're just going to frame 2 pictures. So I'm like, all this expense, all this fuss, all this time. And my whole wedding day, I kept looking at my friends going like that, and they were laughing. I'm like, 2 pictures. That's it, it's 2 pictures. Like, so let's just have fun. You know, I was like, it doesn't matter if something goes wrong. My cake topper wasn't put on properly.
It's the way the universe goes. I think when I got married here, it rained on the day. I think the universe...
Which, had you been in a better mood, you would have been like, who cares?
I think I was still like, who cares? Because I'm quite easygoing like that anyway.
Yeah.
But I think as well, sometimes the universe gives you signs. And with the Greeks and my ex-husband his family being very traditional, it was like, this wedding isn't about you. This wedding's about everyone in the village come in, everyone come in for whatever reason, because we've been to everyone else's wedding. We just care about the money aspect of it. And it was like a business. It was like, oh my gosh, this is hell. Yeah. It wasn't you're marrying for love.
It's not romantic.
Or you're going to say you want to say your wedding vows? What? Like, I would like to say my wedding vows. And none of that, none of me was really, if I take a step back and go, actually, this wasn't really me at all. I was trying to make everyone happy when no one was happy. Yeah. And really my ideal wedding would have been on the beach. Well, like a couple of people.
Though,
But I think we do it in life. And I thought I was never going to get married again. So in my head, I was like, I'm never going to get married again. This is my last chance. I'm going to put everything into it. I'm going to make it, amazing. So I'll never do it again. But now if I could tell my younger self.
So do you think the marriage went wrong from the beginning? Or
I think you get milestones in your relationship. And as a relationship coach, when something goes wrong in your relationship, they will go, okay, tell me about your wedding. Tell me about when you first met. Now, your first meeting was, he liked me, but then he didn't like me. And then I had to chase him. Or something like that. You're talking about trauma, right? If you talk about your wedding and you're like, oh my God, it was just like absolute hell on that, that's your story you're creating, right? So this is where knowing what your values are, being aligned with somebody else's values, sitting down and actually going from that united place and being a team is more important than anything else. And I think it happens a lot with, I suppose, men and women. They feel divided between their family, they want to make everyone else happy, and they don't sit down and go, well, what's going to make us happy? What do we really need here? This is going to be our story. Be careful. Because in 10 years' time, when everything falls apart and you're talking about your story, if it's a really bad story, are you going to pick that story again? You're going to go to everyone else's wedding and go, oh my gosh,
So what would your advice be to your younger self?
My advice to my younger self with relationships, and don't betray yourself. Don't betray yourself. I think obviously you have to compromise in relationships and things like that, but don't betray who you are at your core and your values, because you will get betrayed. People wonder why they get betrayed. It's because you're betraying all parts of you. And remember what's really important, because what's really important is enjoying things and building connections along the way and saying fuck it to perfection, because nothing is really perfect. It's all an illusion anyway.
Yeah. And what is perfect today is not tomorrow. No. So because we change and we grow and we develop and our needs are different. So yeah.
We're always growing, we're always changing. So 100%, I would say, love it. Just love your life, love your journey, and choose people that really love you for you, along the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So from fear to love, that's in your book. And you just told us a bit about your personal journey, and I guess that where it came from. But I love that you included the Hawaiian prayer, or saying, I love that I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you.
It's so powerful. you know, and I think whether or not you call it prayer, talking to the universe, it's your intentions. And to say connection can go in a relationship and people can turn around and go, okay, this, what happened? And they want to hear the story and they want to know the drama, right?
Yeah. People love drama.
People love it. But the truth of the matter is, no matter what, the connection's gone somehow, or they can't speak their truth. It's getting back to connection and just staring into your partner's eyes, just staring deeply into them and not saying anything for 5 minutes. It's one of the most powerful things that you can do. Just grab them and just stare at them.
I love that.
And I talk about this because it's that tuning into their soul. Like, are you sad today? Like afterwards, after the 5 minutes of silence.
Yeah.
To be really seen.
I'm really present.
And really present, right? That's connection. And then go from there. I had a man message me on Instagram today, was like, hey, I'm having these issues. I want to have sex with my wife, but she doesn't want to have sex with me. And I was just like, okay, this is the type of thing I say. Like, are you really tuning into her? Are you looking into her eyes? Like, it doesn't take a long to actually do these things.
Yeah.
But they're so powerful. And then it's that connection. And that prayer is a powerful one. But I do say that in the relationship element, to start the day, as in, gratitude list by yourself. Yeah, I get it, but together, like look in the eyes. Thank you so much for sharing this day with me.
Yeah.
How that day, the next day might not come.
And I also quite think it's, again, on a spiritual side, but if you have your intentions, but also send out your message into the universe, your partner might not even be with you, but you're going to the office and you just say, I love you. I love you. I'm here for you. And you remind yourself that you're there for your partner, not just that you're taking, but you're also giving. Yeah. And somehow they're going to feel that throughout the day. Same thing with your children, your friends. I'm thinking of my friend, I'm there for them. We do that in yoga, the intention of the day, someone that we, care about. And I think the universe will definitely send that message on.
I love that. It's so powerful. And even if, you don't believe in that, vibrationally and energetically, your field increases up to 8 times more with just that thought. And
just your mindset, even if you don't believe the other person will get that message, you're going to make sure that message is transferred later on. Yeah.
You're going to feel it. Yeah. So vibrationally, your energy is going to lift. And I 100% believe that they feel, everything is energy, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have your podcast, which you told me was your gift to yourself for becoming 40 and something you wanted to do. So tell us a bit about your podcast, The Marina Show. What have you learned from it? Because for me as well, like having this show for over a year now, it's taught me so much. I've learned so much from all the people that have been on it. Yeah, what's your take on podcasting?
I love it. I think it's just all about being genuine, having that authentic, raw conversations with individuals. And bringing that out into the light. It's almost like your own show, your own TV show. But actually, everyone is a star in their own show, their own life.
Their own life. Everyone's a protagonist in their own life.
It's their own life. And then what role were you choosing, right? And I've met so many incredible, interesting people that have helped me grow. But just we've sparked one another in some way, just by having that presence. Because it's a time where you can have divine connection with no interruptions and real honest conversations, which then you're serving humanity, you're serving the world in some shape or form, right? So it's a give back. And if somebody finds a couple of my podcasts and it helps them, amazing.
Yeah. You've done what you came to do.
You've done like your soul's mission.
Yeah.
And I think if you can go to bed at night with that, then for me, my heart is full. So I think you learn a lot, don't you? You learn a lot about what works, what doesn't work, what works on screen, what works on mic, tone. So you learn about yourself, but then you also learn about others. Yeah.
I also think coaching helps. I'm a coach, you're a coach, but, it's very much about listening and being present, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. One of the most, the valuable things.
Amazing.
You ever do. And holding space for another person is so beautiful.
Absolutely. So I ask everybody this, your favourite quote?
Well, I'm going to have to use one from my book.
Of course.
But the way you make love is the way you live your life. And it's to bring that presence to the fact that the way you do something is the way you do everything. And to help men go, how are you making love? Are you making love? Do you know what it is? Some guys are like, Marina, I don't even know like what it is to make, you know.
Yeah.
And my definition is that you're present. You're there. There's no end goal. You're just enjoying that moment, because I think many of us are very intuitive beings, and if we feel there's an agenda, then you're not making love, right? Whatever that agenda is. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Goodness, this is definitely a unique Hotel Talk podcast. I love this. X-rated. Don't let your children listen to this one. So this is the bonus question. So our team gets it all. Ask any question. They won't know who pick it. I'll read it for you.
Sure.
Let's see. What did you get? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years' time.
So when you're 50, I guess.
I'm 50. That's an interesting one.
Well, your daughters will be 20 and 16, so you'll still be teening it with with one child.
Very at peace, like, you know, I've spoken a lot around the world in different places around connection, togetherness, love, and opened many hearts around the world. I don't know if I was seeing myself living in America, or I say probably America, a bit of Dubai, doing work in Cyprus.
What's the pull to America? Where in America? It's so huge.
I've been to America quite a few times actually this year. I've been to LA. And yeah, I mean, my goal is to make a TV show out there. I also act as well. So I'd like to create more conscious films on relationships, showing people how to repair relationships. So producing out there, and I'd like to create my own show around helping men connect more to their hearts.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I have one final question for you.
Yeah, sure.
You're not looking for a relationship, but if you were, what would you look for in a partner?
Wow. Okay. So I would look for someone that wanted to create with me, that had really good values, high values around family, that had a positive mindset and wanted to create, right? So if they kind of got to a situation where they were stagnant, that they would be able to create with me.
And grow.
And I think more than anything right now, I'm looking to create and build lots of different businesses. And I'd like someone that's very similar and wants to do that and wants to be part of that journey, and that's very calm. And, you know.
Or just maybe they're happy to see you do that. That they're on their own path, but they're just content enough within themselves.
Secure.
To see you.
Very securely attached. If we look at attachment theory, a very securely attached man, that I'm not an extension of him. I'm not an accessory in any way. But I'm just okay. It's okay, you know, whatever makes her happy, you know, and I'm doing what makes me happy. But it's not a codependent relationship where I'm having to make him happy and he's having to make me happy. So it would have to be a very secure, loving, kind, genuine gentleman.
Well, I will send out into the universe. I hope you find him. And thank you so much. Wishing you and your girls all the best, everyone. Go get this book. It's Men Need Love Too. So Marina Lazaris, I'm sure people can get it on Amazon.
They can, yeah.
You can get it wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy Cyprus.
Thank you
Hope
so
to see you here more often. And welcome at St. Raphael Resort anytime.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.